we watched a movie this week.
We did watch a movie this week.
We watched Twilight 2, the one where they gotta replace the moon or whatever.
Yeah, there's a faulty fuse or something.
Yeah, they
They gotta get up there.
There's an old moon. Then they were like, "Nah, this ain't doing it.
That's not it. That ain't it, bro.
That's not it."
That ain't it.
We watched Twilight, New Moon. What did you think of it, Gavin?
The level of absurdity is ridiculous. Imagine if logic and like rational thinking was like an oven that's on 400 degrees, and the plot point of this movie is like a batch of cookies that went in this oven. They tried to make it a bit more logical. They tried to be like, hey, so we have to take my dad out of town because he looks too young to be blah, 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 blah. Like, they tried to put a modicum of logic and rationale into it.
Yeah.
But then they pulled the cookies out like 20 minutes before they were supposed to be taken out.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the kind of series
It's like a swing and a miss.
This is the kind of series where you don't want to introduce more logic to it because you're only going to make the plot holes more obvious.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to make it like, oh, Carlisle looks 10 years younger than he's supposed to be. Which, by the way, like I was saying earlier, the dude could either be like an old 20 or a young 60.
Like, has he not heard of makeup?
He looks like
older.
a very nebulous age.
You can get some rouge, my guy. Just some rouge.
Do the shit that they do like on Broadway to make people look old.
Right. And then just say you're a, I don't know. Yeah. Just say you're a thespian.
Yeah. Just look older. I said this the last episode that we talked about Twilight, but Bella and Edward are like, them two together is the least interesting part of this entire franchise so far, honestly.
Their attitudes and their characters are like if you were to take two positive ends of a magnet and force them together.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they really jump straight to like, I will die for you.
Pretty much.
As far as their relationship goes.
And like, I like how like even Carlisle and like the other like family, they've been here for a while. They know how to survive here.
Yeah.
Never were they like, hey man, maybe you shouldn't. Not her. Just maybe you shouldn't. You can find a nice vampire gal or something. Just like
we can get you a sister. We can get you a sister to date.
Happen. Listen, it's not that hard. We can run faster than them. We can jump higher than them. Hell, we can even glitter sometimes.
Yeah.
This is the skin of a killer, Bill.
I think Haley's told me that their relationship is a lot better in the books because they have like actual conversations. But all that we see in the movies, as far as like Edward and Bella's relationship goes, is just like them laying in a field staring at each other for hours on end.
I don't know why, but whenever Bella's talking, like, especially when it's just like her top half, I just imagine she doesn't have like any pants or underwear on it and she's actively shitting. That's what I like. I imagine her because she's talking like she's like somewhere else. Like you had that 1,000-yard taking a shit stare. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I'm not even joking. I'm like, is she actually shitting right now? Like, she's just like.
No, the Cullens are great still.
Except don't get a paper cut.
Yeah, don't get a paper cut around them.
Don't. They will try to tackle you.
Yeah. Beyond the clear and present danger presented, they're just not good at handling situations like that, especially Edward, because so like she gets a paper cut and then Jasper goes fucking bananas.
Fucking ape shit.
He goes fucking bananas over this.
Yeah.
And Edward like tries to protect Bella by throwing her at the wall.
By the way, she lands on a couple pots, which could have further cut her up.
Yeah, like they break like a couple of vases.
Yeah, like that's porcelain, bitch.
Like, oh, Bella, I'll protect you. And then he just throws her at the wall, probably breaks all of her ribs.
Oh, he definitely.
But it's okay because the bleeding is internal now.
Yeah, it's fine. He can't smell that.
Yeah.
So, question: if you have a paper cut in the woods and there's no vampire there to smell it, did you actually get a paper cut?
Nah, that shit heals right away.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Why did she let it sit there too? She could have just been like, "Oh, paper cut. Oh, fuck yeah.
Oh, this
think that would've been
blood tastes
funny.
so good. Oh, you would love
it's
this.
so sweet.
One thing that's weird about vampires, like their existence in the Twilight series, is they seem like Christian.
Yeah.
Like Carlisle believes in heaven and hell.
Yeah.
He believes in Christianity, and he thinks that vampires have like damned souls. Like he's going to hell if and when he dies. And so are all of his vampire children.
But like it wasn't Edward's choice to be a vampire.
It wasn't. Yeah, so Edward was dying of the Spanish flu. He was dying of vintage COVID. And then Carlisle was like, "Oh, I'll save your life." But also he believes that Edward has like a damned soul now.
Yeah, you kind of put him in that situation.
Yeah,
bud.
and when Bella's talking to him like, "Oh, I want to become a vampire," but Edward won't let me. He's like, "Well, think of it from his perspective. Would you want to take his soul?"
What if she was Buddhist?
My brother in Christ, you already took his soul. Like you did that, Carlisle.
Yeah. You damned us to this.
I want that for me now. I want that. Gimme.
Yeah. You can't just throw the idea of being an immortal being like on the table and be like, "Nah, but you can't have it."
Yeah.
Like you can't just. That's not how the shit works. Sorry.
Yeah. It seems like there are very few downsides to being a vampire. Like,
yeah, I mean,
you're a little chilly.
You're a little chilly.
That's about it.
You don't have any allergies except to garlic and spikes of wood.
We don't even know. They were cooking Italian food in the last movie. That probably had garlic in it.
Fuck. What if it's in like small amounts? They can handle it, but like
they don't even seem to be vampires in any traditional sense.
Wouldn't it be funny if it's like it doesn't even kill them? They just don't like the smell.
Yeah.
Like it's not even like a deadly thing to them. It's just a minor pestilence that they just don't want to deal with.
Yeah. No, these vampires don't seem to be vampires in any traditional sense because they don't burn up in the sun. They don't turn into bats. They're not allergic to garlic. They don't go 1 2
I want to see them watch Sesame Street.
They're just cold
like,
people that drink blood.
Wouldn't it be funny if like they have I know they have a kid eventually. I forget exactly like what happens, but like they're watching Sesame Street with their kid, and it's like Countula or whatever.
The count,
and they're like, "This is nothing like us at all."
Yeah, this is honestly very culturally insensitive.
Listen. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Interesting thing. Actually, this is a fact I learned. Did you know that in Africa, they have no vampire myths?
Really?
Yeah, no vampire myths. Do you know why?
Why?
Because they bless the rains down in Africa.
Fuck you. That's great. Thank you for that. Thank you for bestowing those words upon me.
Because they bless the rains down in Africa.
Anyway.
Wait, can they go to Vatican City if you're a vampire?
Isn't that like where they go in this movie?
I didn't think so.
They go somewhere in Italy.
Some Italian place.
Some Italian place with power. Might as well be the Vatican.
It turns out like the whole pedophilia thing isn't like a thing. It's just a cover for vampires to eat young people.
Yeah. You know what? Give it a week. QAnon will start saying that.
Oh my god. They've already said like completely straight-faced have been like they eat prepubescent girls' pituitary glands.
Yeah, they drink they like take adrenochrome from baby's blood or some shit.
And like, you know, stomach acid is some corrosive shit, right?
Yeah.
You know that I mean, granted, I could talk to anyone about this all day and I guess it wouldn't really change anyone's mind. But like that would just get destroyed in the stomach, buddy.
Yeah.
You might even vomit.
Wait, are you saying that QAnon doesn't make sense and it's not a rational thought process?
Maybe.
Anyway, more about the movie. I honestly, beyond the Cullens having to move out of Forks and all that, just generally, Edward is kind of right to break up with Bella.
What?
Again,
the dude who can live forever, who is setting a girl up for a life of perpetual disappointment? What?
Again, fucking groomer.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a 100-year-old man.
He's 109, I think.
Yeah, somewhere in that range. Yeah, they just don't have a healthy relationship. She's not good with him. She's not good without him. Honestly, it's best to just rip off the Band-Aid, let her suffer for a little bit, but ultimately move on.
Yeah. What happens if you put a humidifier in their house but fill it with holy water?
I don't know. That would probably hurt a vampire, but good thing the Cullens aren't vampires.
They are vampires, though. No one will believe you.
No one will believe you.
No one will believe you.
They're not vampires. They're just cold people that drink blood, and I will die on that hill. They don't turn into bats. They're not allergic to garlic, as far as we can tell. They don't say, "One,
I want to go over to their house as like a nice, just like a nice gesture, but like with a bag of sand.
Yeah.
And be like, whoops. But it's like,
Edward, you know what? Another reason
sand.
that they're not real vampires. Edward constantly sneaks into Bella's room. If he was a real vampire, he would have to have permission to enter her house.
I think he just smelled her hormones and was like, "Oh yeah, I'm allowed in."
She was asking for it.
She was asking for it. She was wearing all that blood. She was asking for it.
Anti-SJW vampire. That's a great new character.
Oh my god.
Anti-Me Too vampire.
No means yes. Yes means suck in my blood.
But yeah, Bella just depends way too much on Edward just for, to validate her existence, it seems.
Yeah, it's like, hey, you're a person beyond this, right?
Yeah. By the way, so when Edward breaks up with Bella, he does it in the most dickish way possible. He takes her to the middle of the fucking woods at sunset, breaks up with her, and just fucking leaves.
Yeah, in the woods.
Just leaves her in the middle of the woods. It gets dark immediately after, and then she very daintily trips and just knocks herself out.
I'd bet a good amount of money that he was just stalking her in the woods too.
Yeah.
I would bet he was just watching her, and
he was like, "Bet she's gonna trip." Oh, she's gonna trip. Fucking called it.
or like she's walking away, but he's like trying to get her back.
Hey, if Bella trips in the woods and the only one around to see it is Edward, will anyone believe her?
Well, nobody's gonna believe you.
That's the dumbest joke. Will anyone believe her? Oh my! I like to think that he just threw a stick at her and she tripped, and he was like, "Fucking nerd." I can throw you at a wall anytime I please. It would have been easier for him to just drink her blood, though.
Yeah.
It would have just been like, "Hey, I can't be with you." Because if it's gonna kill him, if he's gonna kill himself because he thinks she's dead, then just kill her yourself.
Well, no, because he wants her to live a happy life. And then I'll get to this when we talk about Jacob.
Oh, dude, this is what I mean. But then, it's just fucking what?
Yeah, and they try to do this Romeo and Juliet thing, but they don't change the story to make it, because Romeo and Juliet just terrible when it comes to I thought that she died, so I'm gonna, without investigating, kill myself immediately.
Oh, she appears to be unconscious and or dead.
She's probably asleep.
She's probably something. Let me drink this poison first.
Yeah.
Let me drink this poison and investigate.
Yeah.
So in Kerbal Space Program, there's this saying called "check your staging."
This is like in Star Trek.
No, this is not like Star Trek. This is Kerbal Space Program, you dunce. There's a saying in the community called "check your staging," because sometimes you can set off the wrong stage if you didn't check what order you had your stages in.
Mm-hmm.
So Romeo and Juliet, fucking check your staging. Look
it's
first,
the story
and then
of
drink the poison.
It's the story of two people that wrecked themselves because they did not preceding said wrecking. They did not check themselves.
Yeah.
But yeah, so after Edward breaks up with Bella, rightfully so, she just shuts down functionally.
Yeah, well, let's also look at this from a different point of view. I bet she thought about the fact that she had IBS, and no, I'm joking. I think she's literally just been introduced to like the fact that vampires are real.
Yeah.
And
It's
she's
been like
dating
less than a year.
Like, you can't just be like, oh, okay, that exists. Like, no, bitch, they want to fucking eat you. And now they know you exist.
Yeah.
Now they know you.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they go to where she lives, and the guy from the last movie, Laurent, I want to say, is like,
fucking racist.
I am going
it's
to kill you,
motherfucker.
But beyond, you would think, yeah, you're right. She would have to like compartmentalize the knowledge that vampires are real and want to eat her. Specifically her. They specifically want to eat her.
Yeah.
Imagine living with that.
Yeah. And also, like, that thing called the inevitable thing called death? You can avoid that now.
Oh, yeah.
You can just live forever. And like, not even like live forever, but like, you can die if you choose.
Yeah, you can easily. I wanted to bring this up. Yeah, Edward is like
Arizona once.
Yeah, Edward is like, oh, I can't die, even though I kind of want to. Like, and also, if I had to go one day without you, I would try to kill myself.
But you see the obvious, logical fallacy there.
Having seen these movies and seeing how fragile vampires are, dude could die tripping down the stairs.
Like, buddy, you just need like a UV light and you're done.
Well, like, these vampires shatter. Like, I could see him just falling off the stairs, falling down the stairs, and just at the bottom being a pile of dust.
Just like
a vase.
He falls off a cliff, but it's like it powders before it hits the surface.
Yeah.
Into the atmosphere.
Yeah. Vampires it seems like Twilight vampires are simultaneously indestructible, but also incredibly fragile.
Have you seen Parks and Rec?
I have.
You know that scene where what's his name? Chris Pratt's character.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't remember his name, but
Andy.
Yeah.
Remember that one scene where he gets upset and starts taking off his clothes?
I don't remember that specifically, but continue.
He's like, when I get nervous, I get hot and I take off my clothes. He's a vampire. Historically, when they get upset, I've seen from these movies, they take off their clothes.
Yeah.
I don't know why. They're buff and shit. Like, the view is nice, but like, they're like, I'm sad. I need to get naked.
Yeah.
Like, where does that come from?
Yeah. No, when Edward like decides that he wants to die, he goes to like Vampire Vatican City and he's like, I'm gonna expose myself as a vampire, and then the Volturi are gonna have to kill me for this crime. So his plan is to go outside and like disrobe himself, like in the sunlight,
just in the nude.
And I feel like if you went outside during a festival, disrobed yourself, and were just like shiny, I don't know why anyone would look at that and think vampire.
Frankly, I've seen Florida people do a lot weirder shit, so...
Yeah, and like, being at a festival...
all of Florida is just a bunch of vampires.
Being sparkly at a festival kind of tracks, right? Like, if there's anywhere that you would be glittery, it's at a...
And he gets naked and he's like, shit, I thought this was Woodstock.
Honestly, like, if he went outside, disrobed himself in the sunlight, and caught fire, that I would think vampire.
Fire festival.
I would think vampire in that situation. Yeah. Personally.
Wait, so they shatter when they're in the sun?
No, they just shatter generally. If you hit them hard enough, they shatter.
Oh.
Because they're like ceramic. It's weird. They're like crystalline. They're like made of like minerals and shit.
Yeah, he has hair?
Yeah, see what I mean when I say it's best not to question it?
I have my reservations about this movie.
Wait, I think Gavin's starting to catch on that this series isn't exactly logically consistent.
It's not. But I love how he just commits. I love how much he commits.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Speaking of the Volturi, though, the main guy, Arrow,
yeah,
incredible villain. I love him so much.
Good, yeah.
Yeah.
He's
just
like,
gotta shout him out.
We cannot control you with our brains.
He's like such a Saturday morning cartoon villain, and I love it.
I like how when they're like, Bella, you know of our existence, we must turn you. She's like, can you guys wait until I'm out of high school?
Yeah.
I want to get the diploma first. It really helps with the job opportunities.
Yeah, the Volturi, but Arrow especially, great villains, I think. They're just so fully, like, evil is the only way I can describe it.
Well, who put these jackoffs in charge?
It's just like, I don't know. I see them as like church leadership, you know?
Yeah, but why did it become a church thing? Couldn't they just be like, hey, man.
Because they're all
listen.
Christian, I guess.
Well, eventually you're going to have to be like, I read the Bible 5 million times. What's this science thing about? Oh, it's all bullshit? Okay. Hey, guys, let's just make a government.
Yeah.
Like, hey, there has to be some, like, atheistic vampires who are like, hey, guys, let's not hide anymore. We're, like, if anything, we're a different subset of human.
Yeah. Yeah. Again,
Like, clearly,
not vampires. They're not vampires.
No, clearly, we're not actually dead, and I'm sure a pharmaceutical company can just make fake blood.
Yeah.
That we can drink.
Yeah, I think we figured it out.
There's another vampire movie I forgot about. It's kind of like goes off of that whole idea. I forget what it's called, but
I'm not sure. But yeah, you know, you bring up a good point because I feel like there's no real reason for vampires to separate themselves from normal society. Like, you could pretty easily integrate them because they're not necessarily going to eat people.
Yeah.
Right? So you could just have like some elected leader of the vampires meet with like the UN or whatever and just be like, hey, look, I'm not going to say how many, but there's a certain number of us. And let me just say, we're not going to be violent, but I will say, if you try anything, we will eat all of you. That being said, we can easily integrate into regular society. You know how you got blood banks and shit? Just like set some aside for us, and we won't eat any of you. And if we do, try that vampire like you would try any person that would eat someone. Anyway, I want to get through the rest of this. I think we've talked about everything on the vampire side. I want to talk a little bit about Jacob because he gets more screen time in this movie, and for probably the first 20 minutes of it, he's great. He's so much better just as a character and as a partner for Bella.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're friends, actually, and they like have conversations that go beyond "I would die for you."
Beyond turn me into a lycanthrope.
Also,
wait, is that's a werewolf lycanthropy?
Yeah, I think yeah, that's werewolves.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so it's kind of weird. They kind of play up this age gap between Bella and Jacob.
How did that happen? You're like 16. I don't get it.
Mm-hmm. Age is just a number, baby. What are you, like 40 now?
Because Bella, I think in this movie, turns 18, and Jacob is 16. So,
but he's like, actually 16.
He's actually 16.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's not like 16 going on 108.
Yeah. Like they kind of play up this age gap where she's like, "Oh, you're just like a little kid or whatever. You're like a buff little kid that has like a 10-inch height difference."
Wow.
Meanwhile, Edward is literally 100 years older than her.
Yeah, and him.
Or like 90 years older than her. But yeah.
Exactly.
It's
great.
Yeah, I'm glad that she's at least for a little while dating someone her own age.
Relatively.
Good for her. Yeah. Good for her for that.
Romeo and Juliet laws may not apply, but
yeah.
Technically, if they get too serious, it becomes statutory rape. So
yeah, I think they're good for the most part. But without getting into getting into libertarian
Alex?
Talking points, they're better than Edward and Bella.
I would agree. I think actually Jacob is a nicer guy than Edward is.
For a while. I will big asterisk, he is so much better, but then it's like a switch is flipped and he just becomes the worst character.
So did he go through a ritual that made him able to turn into a werewolf, or was he already able to do that?
So it's kind of like the X-Men where you're like born with this werewolf gene. Quick aside, they're not werewolves. Just like how the Cullens aren't vampires. They're just people that can turn into big wolf-like things. But they're not werewolves. They don't turn into a werewolf under the light of a full moon. They transform at will. They wear
Also,
jorts. They're not werewolves.
I think it would be great if all the werewolves in this movie didn't have like a six pack, but like a spray painted on six pack.
Yeah.
But like a big stomach with spray painted on.
They probably do that in Vampires Suck.
I think that's what they did. Okay, I was like, I swear I saw that somewhere. I know I'm not that funny.
Yeah.
I just want them to be fat with a sprayed on. That's so funny.
That's great.
Vampires suck.
But yeah, it seems like they turn into like they like go full werewolf like during puberty, but it's also like onset by vampires being around. They have this weird like natural rivalry.
Like they have an allergy, but instead of sneezing, they turn into a werewolf.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
that's pretty much it.
Like I just imagine like him sneezing and being like, sorry, I have really bad allergies to you guys.
But no,
Sorry, whenever I sneeze, I turn into a werewolf and then turn back quickly.
Yeah. We talked about this the last time we talked about Twilight, but this is again a real like Native American tribe. And Stephanie Meyer is just like, yeah, they can turn into wolves because that's something that Native Americans do.
Buddy, if Native Americans could turn into wolves, we wouldn't own this country.
Yeah.
That wouldn't happen.
History would have played out better.
Yeah, probably. But I like to think that like Christopher Columbus or like the English would have been like, shit, there are man wolves out here. Fuck this shit, I'm out.
Yeah. Turn the boat around.
Nah, I didn't.
And the world would have been better for it.
And they would have gone to England and been like, hey, so George, hey buddy, hey King George, they can turn into wolves. And he'd be like, I like to think that
they would have been like, no one's going to believe you. And then so Columbus goes back to England or Spain. I think he was from Spain.
Spain, yeah.
Yeah, we got to keep this historically accurate. He's like,
yeah.
He's like, yeah, we went to India. Turned out there's not much there. No reason to send another expedition.
I would like it to be like he gets there and he's
we had like, some spice, but we dropped it. But we can't go gold, back. We can't
need a lot more silver if we're gonna go back. But like, I think it'd be great if he gets there and he's like, "Wow, this is India. I didn't know you guys could turn into wolves. This isn't crazy." When I went to India, you guys couldn't do that. How did you figure that out? Can I turn into a wolf? He goes back and he goes, hey guys, did you know all the people in India could turn into wolves? Probably because of all that chai tea and such.
Anyway, what was I saying?
Don't derail the podcast, Gavin.
So I wanted to bring this up. This absolutely does not relate to any critique of the movie itself, but I had to bring this up. So when one of the werewolves like brings Bella back after she collapses in the woods. So like, you know how they're like putting together a search party because she just disappeared when Edward broke up with her again in the middle of the woods for some reason.
Yeah.
So one of the werewolf guys like carries her back, just completely shirtless. Like that's got to look a little suspicious.
It's raining.
Like there's no way that Charlie's like, oh, thank you, shirtless man, for carrying my daughter back from the woods. I'm not gonna think anymore about this.
My unconscious daughter.
Yeah.
That seems very suspicious. Did you do something?
He would probably look less sus if he just like came back in wolf form and dropped her off.
Oh, I like when he's trying to teach her how to drive that motorcycle, and she crashes, right? And she has a bloodied head, and he's just like, oh, you have blood in your head. Let me take off my sweaty fucking shirt. Expose my sweaty, hard abs.
He's been waiting for an excuse. Like, if it wasn't that, it was going to be something else. Like, oh, do you need something to blow your nose? Hold on, let me take my shirt off.
It would be a lot less attractive if he just, like, took his hair and was like, here.
Yeah, imagine that was the reason he cut his hair off. He's just like, oh,
exactly.
Yeah, let me just snip. Here, let me dab you.
Get that for you. Why is there dog fur in your hair? Oh, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. No one will believe you.
No one's gonna believe you.
No one will believe
you know what? That's the first improvement. The fact that she can bleed in front of him and he doesn't freak out.
Or when in Vampires Suck, where he takes off his shirt and he has 6 nipples.
Yeah, I haven't seen that movie, but I fully believe they did that gag.
It's really funny. He has 6 nipples, and she's just like, "What's up with that?" He's like, "It's a genetic thing."
That's great.
It's really funny.
Oh. But yeah,
Oh.
Jacob for the first, for the first part of his screen time before he goes full werewolf, he's just so much nicer. Just so much better generally. He's like a friend. They hang out together.
Mhm.
But then like he just gets so terrible. For the rest of the franchise, I promise you it does not get better. Like what bothers me most, like the thing that he does that I get the most viscerally angry at is when he's at her house and the phone rings and it's Edward trying to contact Bella. Jacob just answers the phone.
What a fucking dick.
You don't answer someone else's phone at their house.
Private. Wouldn't it be funny if it's just like, "Hey, this is the STD center calling for Bella. You tested positive for HIV.
She's dead."
AIDS." She's
He just had that in the chamber ready to go no matter who it was.
Yeah, she's dead.
Hey, we're
Hangs
trying to
up.
reach you about your car's extension. She's dead.
She's dead. Hi there. This is the STD.
She's dead.
Happy ending.
Yeah. You know what? That is what Jacob turns into. He turns into the happy ending guy.
He parkours into her window, looks at her dead in the eyes, and it's just like, happy ending.
Yeah. Edward
man.
calls Bella. Jacob answers, and Edward's like, "Hey, I'm trying to reach Bella about her car's extended warranty. She can't come to the phone right now. She's busy giving me a happy ending." But yeah, that part of the movie is really frustrating for the fact that Jacob answers her phone and then alludes to Bella being dead when talking to Edward. Like that itself is annoying, but also Edward also he has a part to play in this. He also made it worse because
Buddy, you broke up with her and now you're calling her.
well,
Get over it.
He broke up with her, and then he was like, "This is the last you're going to hear from me." Then he calls her, but the thing that makes it worse is that he calls, and then Jacob doesn't even explicitly say that she's dead. He's just like, "Yeah, Charlie's planning a funeral." And then Edward's like, "Oh, okay, I'm going to go kill myself now." And he crushes his phone. He gives them no opportunity to call back, no opportunity for Bella to be like, "Yeah, I'm actually fine. Jacob's just a dick now. I don't know what happened." He just immediately jumps to smashing his phone and killing himself. Yeah. This, I'm going to say
sense.
so far,
do that
this
too.
is probably the worst Twilight movie, just in
Dude,
terms
when they're
of
at the
how I
movie-
feel about it.
When they're at the movies and they're both sitting there like palms up, trying to like get her to hold one of their hands. I think it would have been great if she just decided to hold both of their hands.
Yeah. Girl boss it.
Girl boss it. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Like, put them on a leash, and then Jake would be like, "How did you know?" And she'd be like, "What are you talking about? This is just my kink."
Jesus Christ. Yeah, you know what? Everyone loves Bella way too much. Just like in the last movie, everyone is, you know what? Charlie specifically just has too much patience. More patience than anyone deserves.
Mhm.
And everyone
He should have just
keeps
been like,
giving
"What-"
her chances to be normal, and she doesn't take
Yeah.
them.
Well, I like how he asks her out, and he's like, "Hey, do you want to I don't know, go to the movie with me?" And he's like, "Yeah, we should all do that." And he should have just been like, "Actually, I can't make it. Never mind."
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, have some self-respect. If you ask a girl to go to a movie with you and she's like, "Yeah, let's make it a group thing," and assuming she's just not like what I mean is if she does that on purpose, like it could just depending on the person could be like, "Oh, I didn't know you were," but like in this instance, she clearly is just dodging a date. Fucking
Wouldn't it be
have
funny?
enough self-respect to just be like, "Never mind."
Never mind.
Never mind.
Listen, if you're not willing to
Hey, you know
say
what?
no
Hey, you know what? Hey, everyone, let's all go to the movies together except for Bella.
for Bella, fuck her. She left us for like a year to go hang out with that weird fucking what's the word for when your skin is super, super white?
Cracker? She left us for that weird cracker.
He just makes it like a race thing. What the fuck? No, when you have that skin condition that turns your skin
Oh,
super white.
albino.
She left us for a year to hang out with that weird albino kid.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, they should be more mean to her. They should.
Yeah, she
Because
just
like
totally
she
yoinked
left
and
she left
she
them. She
dipped.
stopped hanging out with all of them for this cracker, for this weird, awkward ass cracker. And then
when you
after,
say it unironically, it's when it's funny.
And then after he moves away because his dad is too young or whatever, he moisturizes, I guess. Then she comes crawling back, and you think she wants to hang out with you, but then she goes off and rides some dude's motorcycle, some stranger.
Yeah. Who also happens to be a lycanthrope.
No, I'm not even talking about Jacob. I'm talking about when she comes across these strangers and they catcall her. Remember that when she's going to that movie with Anna Kendrick and some dudes are like, "Hey, you want to ride? Hey, potentially underage girl, do you want to ride on my motorcycle?" And then,
"Hey girl, you want to ride on my motorcycle?"
Yeah. And by the way, just the thought process that Bella has when she's like, "Oh, the last time I was in danger, Edward came and saved me, so I'm going to put myself in danger again." Most ape-brained horse shit.
That is a good way to actually die, though.
Yeah.
You know, I think that
the thing is, Edward isn't stalking you anymore, so he can't save you.
That's unhealthy relationship, bud.
Yeah.
That's unhealthy. That's really unhealthy.
Incredibly unhealthy.
Yeah. Like, imagine it's like, "Hey, Edward, so that girl that you fell in love with, she died, not because she was sad, but because she thought you would save her."
Yeah.
Yeah, she jumped off a fucking cliff.
Everyone has too much patience for this girl. Also, I was going to say this earlier, Charlie has way too much patience, more than anyone deserves, because not only is she just generally like depressed, which, that's something that you can deal with. You got to like try to help her through it or whatever. But she's screaming just in the middle of the night. She wakes up screaming. What? Because a boy broke up with her? Yeah, that's a bit much, I think.
Yeah. I like the scene where they're walking out of the theater and he tries to hold her hand, Jacob.
Yeah.
And it just gets awkward. He just grabs her hand and he's like, "You've seen my six-pack." Like,
"I showed you my abs, please respond."
Come on, man. I showed you my abs, please respond. Like, he's trying to like hail her. He's just like, "Hey.
Yeah. Taxi.
Hey.
Taxi.
Taxi. Happy ending." And she's just like, "Yeah, it's a little weird." And she at first holds it and then she like kind of throws it back at him.
Yeah.
It's a great scene.
Great stuff. Anyway,
Great.
Can't wait to watch
cringe.
the next one with you.
Oh, it's so cringe. Oh, it's so fucking cringe.
Anyway, I think we've gotten through all of my thoughts, at least. I don't know if you have any more thoughts on it.
Yeah, again, I stand by my assessment that this movie is very much like they tried to put some logical whatevers in it, and it's like taking out the cookies halfway baked. It's like you went halfway, but you didn't commit.
Yeah. I get what you
mean. Like, if it was logical, it would have been like him and Bella are actually done. Like, they're done for good. They're over.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like just her trying to come to terms with that.
Yeah. I don't like that they try to do the whole Team Jacob, Team Edward thing. And like it ramps up in the next few movies, but like the whole point of this series is that it's following Edward and Bella.
Yeah.
So like the fact that you're introducing the possibility of her ending up with someone else is just kind of a moot point, because it's like, bro, this series is about these two.
Yeah. I would like for Jacob, fuck it. I want Charles to date Charles. Was that the friend's name?
The human
Bella
friend?
Out. Yeah.
I don't know.
The dude who asked Bella out.
Yeah, I don't know his name.
Fuck it. I want him to start
I don't think the
dating
movie knows his name.
I don't think they gave him a name.
Classmate number 3.
I think it would be funny if you just started dating that one really hot vampire chick.
Alice.
The
one that can see the future?
Yeah, and they just start dating.
Yeah, fuck it.
He's a nice guy. She's a nice girl.
Yeah, I feel like it wouldn't be it wouldn't be hard to convince her. Just be like,
Getting some
hey,
of
that
that.
guy's a Confederate soldier. I'm not
Getting-
racist.
Hey, I voted for Obama.
Not trying to
Getting some-
brag or anything.
Not trying to brag or anything. Getting some of that Vamposi.
Yeah. Anyway, would you say best movie ever?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Would I say it's one of the movies that made it to theaters? I think
Yes,
so.
for sure. Do I think there were do I think there was a plot? Yes, I do.
I disagree. I don't think this movie had a plot.
Objectively, it had a plot. The plot was just flawed.
I know I said that I think we got through everything, but we barely touched on the villains.
Barely. Yeah.
I think we just kind of forgot that there are villains for this series.
I want like the dad, what's his face?
Charlie.
To be, is that the dad's name?
Yeah.
The doctor?
Oh, not the doctor. Carlisle. That's Carlisle.
I want him to be like, he goes to Italy to like keep his son from fucking killing him, or his air quotes son that he forcibly turned into a vampire.
Yeah.
He tries to go there to keep him from killing himself, because that's what he's doing. He's killing himself. He's committing suicide. That is what we're observing.
Yeah, he's doing suicide by cop.
Vampire suicide by cop.
Yeah.
And he gets there and he's like, "Don't do it, Edward. It's not worth it." And then the vampires are like, "You have gone onto the sacred ground of the Italian Vampire Club." And he's just like, "Who the fuck put you jerk-offs in charge?"
Carlisle was one of the jerk-offs in charge.
Like and then he left because he's like, "This is dumb."
Well, here's what I imagine the thought process was when he left the Volturi.
The vampire club.
Yeah, the fucking vampire Mensa. He is part of
Mensa.
them, like we see in the flashbacks. And I just can imagine him like standing there, and he's like, "I noticed there's 4 of us at this moment, but you only put in 3 chairs. What was your plan for me? Why do I have to bring my own folding chair to our meetings?
Welcome to the Vampire Club. We will have
Standing room only.
But make sure to bring your own chair."
You know what? I want to see like their day-to-day proceedings. They're like reading the minutes or whatever from the last meeting. And you get Arrow, the other 2, they're like in their thrones, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, "So last meeting we decided to kill this guy and do whatever to this guy." And Carlisle's like sitting there in like a lawn chair. He's like, "If I may, sir." "Shut up, intern. Get us coffee."
They haven't gotten his throne yet.
We don't even drink coffee, but get us the coffee so we can throw it in your face, intern.
I think it'd be funny
Yeah, I
if they're
left
like,
because of ideological differences, and I didn't want to hurt anyone. I decided to become a doctor.
I just decided to become a human doctor. I think it'd be great if like they're reading off the minutes and they're just like, "So last meeting we decided that we'll kill these people, and the drapes we said should be blue, right? That's what we agreed on, Clarence, right? All right, so we've also agreed that you can no longer park your car in the subsection B without having it validated by one of our official validators first. Are we agreed?" And it's like just mundane shit.
Yeah.
It's like nothing to do with being a vampire. It's like just the issues of bare bones government.
Yeah, and you know what? If they are concerned with parking, they should kill Edward because he parks like an asshole at the beginning of the movie.
He looks like an asshole anyway.
Yeah, we see
That's
him
why they
park
kicked
like
him
an
out.
asshole.
That's why they kicked him out. They're like, "Carlisle, your car is parked on top of the line. It's supposed to be in between the lines. I
Carlisle,
don't care
you're
that
double
you drive
parked,
a
asshole."
hydrogen-powered Mercedes. You have to follow the same rules as everybody else."
Yeah. I like to
I think it
think
would be
that
great.
that's my headcanon. They kicked Carlisle out because he parked like an asshole.
An asshole.
And then Edward picked up on that.
But he's also like an American asshole.
Oh yeah.
Like he's also American. I want to say that they're like super bourgeois because they're European and he's American, but they're all vampires.
Yeah.
So like he's just like, hey, what's up, an American vampire? And they're like, oh, American vampire.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I got. Yeah.
But anyway, this segment has gone on for a while. So I think we can agree best movie ever. Definitely not it's as good
It's
as 8
so
Bit
bad.
Christmas at least.
Oh,
As a
I'm gonna be
Christmas movie
honest.
though, I don't know if
Oh
I
my God.
just,
It's
you know,
not a
I don't-
Christmas movie.
I'm not
Alex.
sure.
This is about vampires.
It's
It's not even a Halloween movie.
I would say yeah, it is up there, but take it with a grain of salt. This
It's
is
a
just our
it's a-
opinion.
It's a bad plot that takes itself too seriously.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair to say.
It's just like, like everything is like they just need a caseload worker
Yeah.
to be like, hey, okay, guys, here's how we're gonna run this family. Don't save people if you can, because that just will make you look suspicious.
But-
Don't stop a van.
Edward's raising his hand. But
Yes,
what if I
Edward,
tell them
what?
that no one will believe them?
Okay, so if anyone asks if you're a vampire, just say no.
But no one will believe them.
Just
Anyway,
say no.
Anyway, best
Edward!
movie ever. Let's close out this segment.
It's really sus if you're like, no one will believe you.